Hey guys, welcome back for another video. Sorry it's been so long. Over the weekend I got to play the Darktide closed beta. Before that I got to play the Darktide closed technical test, so I have a lot of thoughts on the game and I'm really excited for when it comes out. This video is just focused on me and AstartesPanda going over our thoughts on it, what we liked, what we didn't like, what we want to see in the future, comparisons between Darktide and Vermintide, and kind of shaping our expectations around that. It's basically just us talking over gameplay, and I use the Space Marine soundtrack in the background. So if you like this content, make sure you check us out on Twitch, check out our other videos, and I'll get right into the video. Thanks. We got to play Darktide this weekend. We got to play the closed beta, and it was fucking cool. Should we avoid swearing? I don't know. No, we're not going to avoid swearing. Screw it. I don't give a shit.
No, this is not a little game. This is not for kids.
Yeah. No, it's for grown adults that like to kill poxwalkers and stuff. But yeah. We got to play. I originally actually got to play the closed technical test as well, and so I wasn't getting first impressions from the beta. But Panda, this was your first time actually.
This was my first impressions, yeah.
So what did you think of it? First time playing it.
First time, absolute virgin. Even though it's a beta, it was really good. That's about it.
Out of 10. give it a rating out of 10. What you played in the beta.
Beta, I would give it a solid 7 purity seals.
So I'd be inclined to do that as well. The gameplay is, in general, especially in its beta state, I think it's above average, and that's mainly because both during the technical test and the beta test, I was able to sit down and play this game for hours at a time, right? Like, I streamed it for 19 hours or something over the weekend, and I was really only like starting to get bored at like 12:30 last night. I was like, okay, I'm getting a little bit sick of this now. So I think that's a really good...
I only stopped playing because it was fucking late and I got tired.
Right. I think that's a really good sign, right? If you can play the shit out of a game that much, that's awesome. I also think it's really exciting because this is the type of game that's like, we've been talking about a game like this for years. Oh my god,
yeah, wouldn't it be cool if they had a Left 4 Dead?
Right, yeah. Oh, I could be a guardsman and run around. Ooh, so cool. So like, I'm super excited about this. I think a lot of people are like really excited about it.
Yeah, because how many games do you get to play as a guardsman? It's always a Space Marine.
Right.
Yeah, it's always a Space Marine. Unless it's Dawn of War, but whatever.
Right. So, general impressions from both of us, I think really good. Really excited about it.
Yeah,
so,
for a beta, pretty excited for it. It seems good. Lots of like things are probably missing from it, but
yeah, definitely.
I doubt we'll get as bored as fast when the full game comes out.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot to do. So what I'm noticing is it's very... Maybe we could talk about this more later, but people are complaining, oh, it's just Vermintide with guns. Yes. Yes, it is. It is Vermintide
it's made by the same people.
It is absolutely just Vermintide with guns. Now, it's not exactly Vermintide with guns, because I didn't really like playing Vermintide, and I like playing this. So and maybe that's just the theme. I don't know, but
I think it's just the theme. It is, at least that's what it is for me.
Okay.
Because I was never into the Warhammer Fantasy scene in general. I'm more of a sci-fi shootery kind of guy, and it's kind of good that it's come from the Vermintide people, because that's been all about melee combat for the most part, right?
Right.
And a big part of 40k is melee combat,
right?
Which feels great. Everything hits good, feels good. Same with the guns. They feel really satisfying.
Yeah, and we
snap the sounds. Oh.
We can just talk about that. Like, what are the things that stood out to us that we really liked? I would agree with that. Like, sound design in this game in general, fucking incredible. The music, so good. The sound effects,
music so good.
Yeah,
really gets you pumped in it. The guns sound exactly how you think they would, like the last gun. The first time ever really using a last gun, right? Aside from hearing in Dawn of Wars. But it feels really nice. Sounds really nice.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel as memey as being just a flashlight.
Right. It you know what? Actually, on that topic, like the las gun in general, it does come across to me as like kind of how it is in like the books and the audiobooks, where like this thing is
Yeah.
like punchy and goes straight through people and burns holes in their brains, and it's like very dangerous. It's not like a kill everybody
It's
weapon.
just what you need.
Yeah, it's not a kill everybody weapon, but it will absolutely kill the shit out of one person if you get the good shot.
Get the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's definitely cool. And it did feel like that too. Now,
the shotgun felt very powerful.
yeah, the shotgun felt a little too powerful, but the shotgun was fun too.
It was so fun. So just the pump, the clunk, everything. It just felt so good.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of the melee weapons too. Like the axes in general felt good. The clubs felt good. The sword was a bit
we only
weird.
got to play with this. Yeah, the sword is a bit weird.
Like the sword, I noticed I enjoyed it a lot more if I was playing certain classes. So like if I played it on the Zealot, it felt great, and if I played on other ones, it was like, I mean, it's okay, right? But like I don't know. But one thing I did notice about the game, we're kind of on a like a little tangent here, is that you really have to make decisions about what your class is going to be able to do. So I noticed this a lot with the Zealot, right? So if you're playing the Zealot and you take the sword, you can now deal with mobs super easily, and then you can't really deal with elites very well. But if you take the axe, like the trench axe, the combat axe, now you can just deal with elites super well, and you have no cleave damage anymore. So then you have to like counterbalance that with like, okay, so I take the axe and the SMG, and then I've got like single target and AoE, or I take the sword and the shotgun, and then I have AoE, and you see what I mean? Like you really have to balance that. But that's actually one thing I did like is like how different all the classes feel. Like the Psyker, the Ogryn, the Sharpshooter, and the Zealot all feel very different. What were your thoughts on like the classes in general?
I'll take your word for the classes, because I was about to say I was only rinsing the Imperial Guards guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have time to get deep into the others because I was determined to get to level 11 to see what that other guy does, which is just extra missions with another currency to unlock more stuff, better stuff.
Right.
I do like how it's a trust meter, because we're all convicts. We're not trustworthy enough to like have some better war gear. So you just get the basic bitch shit, like a shovel
thematic,
and a last gun.
Yeah, from a thematic perspective, it's not just like this is your level, but it's like this is how much the Inquisition like trusts you. That's why you have a flamer, because you've earned it.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it's a nice little touch.
Shit's gone so bad downhill on the Hive world that they kind of let go to shit. Now that they're having to get convicts from the planet and neighboring planets and shit to hopefully fix it.
Right. And actually, I'd say that's one area of this game. Like that's something else I would say I really like in this game is like it does the theme super well, and everything is consistent within that theme. Like. Especially, oh my god, the environments. Like, just the environments are insane. And not even the backgrounds, but just when you're walking around and like looking at walls and looking at floors, like everything feels like I'm walking around on the tabletop or something. The terrain is so good.
I just love how it's so shitty and horrible and dingy. Very 40k, it's all gothic-y, it's a factory as well, but it's like there's just it looks like a church too.
Mm-hmm.
You know you never want to be living here, but it looks cool as fuck.
Right. And there's candles,
it's horrible.
Purity seals and gears and vents and fans and cables.
Not
everywhere.
A window in sight.
Right. Yeah. No, the art.
It does make me wonder if we're gonna get the opportunity to go to the upper hive, where all the rich people hang, where they got balconies and shit, and gardens.
I hope so. We can. Well, let's get to that later because we can talk about stuff we want to see, right? So just for the stuff we liked, I think we can both agree. Like visually, the game's amazing. Like UI, environments, all that stuff. Visual effects,
voice acting is great.
Audio is good. And actually, on that topic, that's something that was interesting for me because in Vermintide, I got annoyed with all the characters like quibbling to each other constantly, and in Darktide, it didn't bother me for some reason. I don't know if it was just not as frequent or just what they were saying wasn't bothering me or I could relate to it more. What did you think about that?
I think it was just because it was 40k and I'm more into 40k than I am Warhammer.
Yeah.
Because most of the waffle in Warhammer it probably makes sense if you knew what the fuck was going on. Whereas all the little lore dumps they were saying here it made sense.
Yeah, that's fair. I can see that.
Ogren does seem a bit smarter than he should be, though. Like,
Yeah.
full coherent sentences and shit.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that one. Like sometimes he just sounds like spot on for an Ogren, and other times it's like this Ogren has an IQ of like 90. What is this? He's way too smart.
What is he doing here?
Was he too smart, and that's why they put him here?
Yeah, that's why he got kicked out.
Right.
I don't trust a smart Ogren.
That transitions well. Like, so what did you not like? Because there's several things in this game that I didn't like for sure.
It's kind of hard to say because it's a beta, so
Right.
everything we might complain about might be rectified later, like whatever. But on the topic of like where we'd like to be, upper hive and shit, I want different environments. Because what did we have? Like 2 levels, or was it 4 levels? I think?
We got to see the smelter. We got to see there was one that was like a not an airport, but not like a starport. But you had to like load up all this special issue ammo and get that out. There was sewers. We saw a lot of sewers, like just general environments. We saw sewers, churches, factories, smelters, like depots and stuff like that. You see the ship interior. But
that's my point.
You're not seeing hab blocks and stuff like that.
Yeah, they said we went through a hab block to get somewhere, but it didn't look like a hab block. It didn't look like it was lived in or anything. It just looked like another generic fucked up corridor.
Yeah, they said
which is fine.
Yeah,
but I can see the environments and the maps getting a very samey because the objectives are the only thing that kind of change. Otherwise, you just go into the same spot over and over again.
Right. It might also be a case of, and this is a similar thing in Vermintide, where even though the environments actually are very different, because of the way the gameplay is, you don't have time to notice it. So it doesn't matter to you that, like, say in Vermintide, you're fighting on a farm, or fighting in a swamp, or in a forest, or on a mountainside, because you're just chopping up 800 rats. Like,
true, but you'd still know you're in a different environment. In this, you're still just in a hive.
Yeah, it's just metal
so it's
walls.
A bit hard for them to yeah, because it's just going to be the same fucking kind of environments everywhere.
Yeah,
except maybe, like you said, we're in a factory, so we might see some smelting things. And
yeah, okay.
The hab block didn't really feel like a hab block.
No, it felt like a shanty town.
Yeah,
which I think they alluded
not
to.
Much. Yeah, but it didn't feel lived in. It just felt like another generic corridor. There's no signs of life and living. That's just a nitpick, I guess. That's just me.
I could kind of see that, except I did get like, I don't know. Actually, I don't know if I'd agree with that, because there are like bars and restaurants and stuff around, but it's not. You know what it is? Maybe it's because there's not like tons of dead bodies everywhere. But that could be
true, but there wouldn't be because it's Nurgle.
Because of the Nurgle thing, right? I could see that. So it does seem a bit lifeless.
Everyone just turned into poxwalkers.
Yeah, I could see that. It's not like there's people running around going like, "My baby!" Ah.
Yeah, or I don't know. Like with the restaurant, there's empty foods?
Kind of. Yeah, there was like a couple patios and stuff. There was a little bit. It was only ever a little bit though, because I remember every time I did see something that looked like it was lived in, it stood out to me. I was like, "Hey, look, that's a little patio with a drink on the table." Or like we found that guardsman that was dead at the beginning of the tunnel, right? And we're like, "Hey, look, it's a dead guy."
Yeah, I wonder what happens to this guy. That's what I like about like some environments. I want a little story. Like, what the fuck happened here?
Yeah, and there's...
Oh shit, what are we walking into?
There's bits and pieces, but I think it probably is a valid criticism that there's just not enough of it, right? Even though the environments are incredibly detailed, the environments do definitely feel like I'm playing a game of like, you know, Kill Team or Necromunda tabletop or something like that, in that everything is just terrain,
Necromunda,
right?
Underhive Wars vibes.
Yeah. It's like you
Which
feel
again,
like you're on the tabletop.
It's kind of
right?
hard for them to mix it up a bit because it is a fucking hive. But maybe there's extra levels where you're up a hive on a balcony and you get to see some of the outside.
Yeah, I hope so.
I think I did read somewhere on the store page about acid rain,
Oh,
so
okay.
maybe.
Yeah, I think actually that's a good side thing because I think there are environmental effects because I remember when we were in the smelting area, there's like a little fire icon next to your health bar. And Kristen was like, "Oh, what's that?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Maybe it's like heat." And so maybe yeah, like later on there'll be like acid rain that you like need to not stay in for too long or something like that.
Yeah, I would like some of the maps to have like a theme to them, more so than it just being generic iron 40k shitty corridors #2.
Oh, and the other level where you start out and the guy's like, "This air sucks," and the tech priest is either an asshole or really nice about it, or like, "Don't worry, the air will get better," or "Stop complaining, it's not
It's
that
in
bad."
acceptable parameters, blah 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 blah.
Right. So
See,
maybe
yeah, I was thinking
that's
because
something.
it's nurgling, are we gonna have to deal with like getting kind of fucked with the areas?
Fart
And then
clouds and
like,
stuff.
yeah, but then nothing else came of it, so I'm like, okay, never mind. I guess it's just a little throwaway line. Cool. Or
Could
maybe they don't
be.
give a shit because you're just a bunch of convicts anyway. They'll just send more in if you fail.
Could be that too. It could also be that could be the beta, right? Where normally there would be like gas and acid and fire and shit that you need to worry about, but
Environmental hazards to deal with because it is fucking a nurgle infested hive city.
right. But it's a beta, and so they just want you to not worry about that. Like that, maybe that's turned
Yeah.
off. Don't know. Right. Something I disliked, and I don't know if there is a fix for this, but in general, I would say stuff kind of feels really clunky sometimes. Like sometimes the melee system feels really intuitive and really smooth, and sometimes it is clunky as hell. Where I notice myself
Yeah, same.
like
It did get really annoying sometimes.
I'm like
But
shoving
I
too
kind of
much.
put that down to like maybe it's just beta
I don't know. I don't know.
because we've
It's a
got
bit
30
worrying.
series and we were getting like 40 FPS.
Well, that's a performance thing. I'm talking about just the way that you like interact, like the mechanics and like moving around the environment, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, the shoving did feel a bit off at times. Like it wasn't really doing much, or it was and then it wasn't.
Yeah, like
It wasn't very consistent.
you'd shove too many times, or like if you input too quickly, like your character would just do a bunch of things when you thought it should stop. Like it would attack when you didn't think it would. Maybe that might be a muscle
Or
memory thing. I don't know.
you think you're kind of out of the way of an enemy swing and you dodge, but you're not because the animation has already started, kind of thing. That kind of stupid shit.
That's actually a massive thing, and that was very similar in Vermintide too, where you're both hitting and getting hit from like 12 feet away with people's swords, and it's like the camera is like super fisheyed, and so it's really hard to tell like what your actual distance to something is. So playing with range and stuff like that just doesn't seem like realistic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be a definite complaint. And that's another thing where it's like, well, this is something I didn't like about Vermintide, and so I don't like it about Darktide, because Darktide is basically the same thing, right?
Same developers, so yeah, exactly.
Right.
I do wish there was back to the kind of map shit. I wish there were more like a theme to it, like a smelting place. You should be able to, I don't know, use some smelting or fire
Oh, okay.
or
So
manufactorum. There should be like maybe some funky temporary weapons you can pick up.
like some
Or
contextual things. Yeah, that would be a good idea. I
yeah,
like
or
that.
like we walked past the Layman Rust tank that was just crushed up, or its treads were all fucked up, but you can't do anything with it. It would be cool if like there was a halfway point in the map where you had to use that to defend off massive hordes of something before something opens up, or use it to get someplace.
That's a good idea.
Just something tiny to break up the flow of combat and fit into the theme of the map, you know?
Yeah. No, I like that idea a lot. I mean, maybe we'll see that stuff. But you know
But
what?
yeah,
dude?
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
even remember a Layman Rust tank. I don't even see it, so I don't. But no, I don't know. But that would be cool. What's something else? The movement in sometimes felt super clunky. Like so, you can start the reload with your guns and then start sprinting, and it pauses the reload. It doesn't cancel it, so you can and can't reload while sprinting. Like you have to stop sprinting to finish the reload, and that was really annoying. Like I was feeling like a game like this with the pacing that it does, you should be able to reload and sprint at the same time. That shouldn't be a big deal, right? but you just kind of can't. And there's a jump function, but there's never anything to jump over. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing is ever short enough to
yeah.
jump over. You're not like crouch jumping over environmental things. And the vaulting as well was super duper unintuitive, where sometimes you could vault over a railing only if you looked at it from a certain angle. Not even like positioned yourself differently, but like if you stood in the same place and looked up or down, you then could or couldn't vault over it. That was really weird. So the movement in general it definitely felt a little clunky sometimes. Although that stuff is sometimes, right? Like I don't have any like absolute complaints with the game. Like even when it comes to like the environments and stuff like that. Like I think we can agree that the environments are really good, but then they're kind of samey. And the combat and the movement is in general really good, but then sometimes it's really clunky, right? The guns feel really good, unless you're playing on a difficulty that's too high and then they don't do any damage.
Well, I think that just might be because we're low level and don't have the good gear yet.
Right. And that's just something I just did not like about Vermintide at all. And it looks like it's going to be the same thing in this game, where your gear is 90% of the reason why you can clear a level. Like, you can't, Dark Souls naked run it. Like, you need to grind and, like, play lower difficulties and build your way up to being able to do harder difficulties. That was a massive turnoff for me in Vermintide. And I'm hoping it's not so extreme in this game, but it kind of looks like it is.
Yeah, it looks like it is.
We played, obviously we did like the tier 1 difficulty. I can't remember what it's called right now. We did like 1 and 2, and 2 felt good. 2 felt like normal difficulty. 3, the difference between 2 difficulty and 3 difficulty was a massive jump, but 3 was still manageable as long as like everybody had gotten used to the game and had like, decent gear. But you could still do tier 3 difficulty with starting gear, so it wasn't even a problem. Dude, I tried tier 4 difficulty, and I'm like, I don't think this is possible. Like, I don't think this is possible unless everyone is insanely good and they play perfectly and they're like over geared for the difficulty. It was insanely difficult.
I think it's literally just that, because it happens in Left 4 Dead, for example, as well. You just come across players that absolutely rinse everything because they know the timings and shit of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got videos on YouTube already of guys that are like super high level. Like they just played non-stop without sleep the whole weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll never be like that. I don't know how people could do that. I'm just not that type of person. But yeah,
MLG.
It makes me wonder, like, if tier 4 difficulty seemed like impossible, what the fuck is tier 5 difficulty? Like, what? How do you make this harder? Like, there was instances where you're fighting like 4 maulers, 2 Ogren gunners, and then there's like a squad of like hotshot volley guns in the back. Like, it was just nuts. And you're getting swarmed by poxwalkers at the same time. It's like, I don't have enough firepower to deal with everything at once. Yeah. It was.
And that's where it's gonna make you start grinding out all the guns and shit, because you've got the currency with the normal shop to buy better stuff.
Yep.
But then you got that other shop to buy even better stuff. Like there was that chainsaw that I couldn't get, and that probably would have been a lot better dealing with poxwalkers.
Okay.
Or heavier targets.
Yeah, I didn't get to. That's definitely okay. So that would be a complaint specifically with the beta, right? If that's the rate that it takes to grind things,
I fucking hope that it's not.
I think it's gonna be. I think that is just the rate that it takes to grind things. And if that's the case, they should have changed it for the beta. Like, because you want people to be able to experience things and screw around with stuff. And I noticed this with both you and Eric, where you guys felt like you needed to play just one class to level it up as much as possible to see everything about that class. And then you didn't even get there. You didn't even get to the chainsword, right? Whereas I was bouncing around between all the different classes.
No, it was the weekly missions. It was only on for weekends, so it was like, okay, cool.
Right, you basically played one class the whole time and didn't even unlock like the next like crazy weapon or anything. I had all those extra currencies, whatever the hell they were called, because we had like Ordo dockets, and then there was like plasteel, and then there's diamantine resources as well. I have no idea what any of those do because I didn't get a chance to use them.
But I'm guessing there are some of those shop stalls, like that tech priest guy with a whole bunch of guns scattered around his whatever. I'm guessing that's where you spend some of it. This is one thing that annoys me about modern games in general, how they have this it's kind of an artificially forced replaying thing, because you have to grind shit to get better shit so you can actually play the fucking game.
Yeah.
Effectively.
Yeah.
Whereas it might not be fair to compare, but Left 4 Dead and other old games didn't have that shit. They were just fun and somehow were able to be constantly replayed.
That's what we were talking about, right? Because I was saying, like, it's funny that we get so hung up on progression mechanics when games that came out like 10 years ago literally had none, right? Like Left 4 Dead, there's no account level, there's no weapon unlocks, there's no skins, there's no talent tree.
Workshop, but the game itself, there's none of that shit. The only thing you get is the scoreboard at the end credits that tells you how much everybody killed.
Yeah, you just get the
and
good
apparently
job.
You can't do that in this game because it's toxic. I've seen some other community forum posts about the scoreboard not being
lack
available.
of a scoreboard. Yeah,
the lack of a scoreboard is not nice. So don't want to make people feel bad. So they don't have a scoreboard for some reason.
Did, like, the devs say that's the reason it's not there?
That's just the general impression I'm getting from the
oh, well then that's
so you got people being all for it, saying it's a good thing because it's a teamwork game. You don't need to see the scores. But then it's like we were just saying, 12-year-old game, Left 4 Dead at least had an end credit score to see how everybody does.
Right. Okay. So that's I don't know how much Vermintide you played, but that's something we could talk about.
I didn't play much at all.
All right. Well, that's something I can talk about then. Stuff that was in stuff that was in Vermintide that's not in Darktide, and how some of that was a bit weird, right? And this could just be because it's the beta. I fucking hope so, because some of the stuff I feel like it really needs to be in the game. So the first one is, right, obviously, there's not really an end game scoreboard. You get, very briefly, it shows you how many kills you all got. Just a blanket number. 800 kills. Boom. Not assigned to anybody. Vermintide had breakdowns. You got this many headshots. You got this many whatevers. You did this, you did this. And it does that for all 4 of the players lined up next to each other. And it said who did the best in each category. So people could be like, oh, good job, you killed everything. Or, hey, look at me, I did the best in this and whatever. I don't know. And if that's toxic for you, then that's your own preference, I suppose. You know, you can't make a game that appeals to everybody all the time. But people that get turned off by scoreboards, like, I mean, I get it, but I also don't, because most people don't. Most people want to know how well they're doing in a game, and that's how you get better at a game. So it's, you know, it's fine. Like, I think it should be there. I think it should be in Darktide, absolutely. Hopefully they put it in. Something else that it might be in the game, but we didn't get to see it. We didn't get to see weapon crafting or forging or modifying in any way. All we saw was weapon unlocks, and then you could purchase new ones and sell them. There's no customization.
And it wasn't very clear on the stats of any of the guns, which was kind of annoying.
Yeah, that was a thing.
It's just a bar that didn't have any numbers. It's like, okay, this one's slightly higher bar than the other one, so I'm guessing this one's better. Okay.
Right, and that was
this one has a perk, this one doesn't.
Yeah, that was something that Vermintide did that I'm pretty sure. Maybe it did, I don't know. But there's no way to compare between, you can't just side by side 2 weapons. And doesn't sound that bad, but when you're going to purchase a new weapon and you can't look at the stats of the thing that you currently own, you're just completely guessing. And so the only way to do it is to exit out of the shop, open your inventory,
scroll to it. Yeah, I was having to do that as well.
Try and memorize how big the yellow bar was on the damage, and then go back, and like, that was awful. Like, you need to be able to compare stats, or there just need to be numbers. This does 56 damage, this does 57.
Yeah, just put the numbers down.
Right. Bizarre that that's not there. So that's something.
But again, I guess beta, it might. But if you said it's in Vermintide, right, then maybe not.
Yeah, well, Vermintide does have more in-depth stats on weapons. I don't know if they're exact numbers, because there's also this like combat rating of a weapon, which was present in this game too, which is kind of this like vague, oh, it's 226 combat power. You're like, that sounds good. I want 226. It doesn't, it's not telling you exactly like this weapon does 53.8 DPS. Like, you have no idea, right? I don't know if you're supposed to, but maybe that's something that'll be out once it's not in beta. I don't know. But in the technical test, it was the same thing. You just didn't... Actually, I don't even know if you could look at the weapon stats in the technical test, but can't remember now. So that's something that should be there. Something that totally blew me away, and I'm sure you noticed this too, there was no mouse sensitivity slider in the beta.
No.
I was like, wait, what? Like, this is a PC game. Like, they had controller sensitivity and they didn't have mouse sensitivity, and I've literally never seen that before in an FPS game. I've never seen a game that didn't let you change your FPS. So I hope to God that that is a beta thing, because
yeah. I'm guessing it's just a beta thing. There's a lot of this our complaints that might just be beta things.
Really hope so. That's what makes this hard, right? Because we only have what we're seeing. But that is something, if they don't add like mouse sensitivity to the game, that is something that will just turn people off. Like, people are like, I can't play this game because my DPI is too high or too low, and I can't be bothered to change it in Windows or whatever every time I want to play the game, right? Like,
I'm a bit disappointed they don't have in-game voice chat.
Well, they did, but it didn't work. The only option for in-game voice chat was open mic or muted. There's no push-to-talk button, which was another thing that hopefully...
That should be addressed. I mean, that's a pretty basic fucking thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that... Now, if you want to talk about...
Counter-Strike, for God's sake.
But if you want to talk about toxicity, voice chat is definitely a place where things can get toxic, right? So...
Yeah.
I can understand if people don't want to put voice chat in their games, but if you are going to put voice chat, there needs to be more than just open mic. You need to have push to talk. Good lord, this is not Xbox Live, like, from 20 years ago. I don't need to hear you chewing on your microphone, right? Right. So that is bizarre. What was other things?
But my only argument with that is, if you don't want to hear people, then just have your settings muted done.
Yeah.
You don't have to listen to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that.
Because in a game like this, you're gonna need people to be able to speak. And there's so and so over there. Look out behind you. You've got a dog on your ass.
Yeah. That's something I noticed a lot, was that this game was way more fun to play with friends. Like, I'm the type of person that, like, I always want to be playing with friends if possible, but oftentimes that's not possible because they're just not online or something. And so I will oftentimes just play games by myself, like whether that's like Dota or like Hell Let Loose or whatever. I can just jump in by myself and make friends with strangers and play. And in this game, it felt like if I don't have friends to play with me on these like higher difficulties, like
I'm just bashing my face against a wall.
Yeah, I might just be screwed, because it's like running around after someone who has the health box for like 2 minutes, being like, can you please
put
drop
it down,
this?
please put it down.
Can you please heal us? Like, can you come over here and pick up this ammo? Can you do this, please? Look out behind you.
Yeah, randos are very hit and miss.
Yeah, and you just can't communicate with them besides like stopping and typing or trying to use the pings, and you know, it was kind of clunky as hell. So yeah, there needs, I think in-game voice would be like really nice when the game does come out. What was something else? A major difference between Vermintide and Darktide is that there's apparently no subclasses. So it's just kind of like, I remember in Vermintide you had like Marcus Gruber, and he was like the mercenary or the knight or the whatever Bretonnian paladin, or he's like the foot soldier, and these were all subclasses of that one main class that had different abilities and stuff like that. There aren't apparently subclasses in this game, which feels like a kind of major missed opportunity, right? Because just with the guardsman, for example, or the veteran sharpshooter, you could break that down into like tons of subclasses, because you could have the guardsman, you could have a stormtrooper, you could have a Kasserkin, you could have Katachan, whatever, right? And that could really open the door for all the different stuff you want to do. But this game seems to be like a semi-build-your-own-class system, which could be cool or could be really boring, just depending. What do you think?
It could be cool. I guess we'll find out once the full game is out, but maybe they're just gonna DLC new characters.
Right. Well, I think they definitely
Which
will.
Probably will, yeah, definitely.
And
If they've got a good base game, they can milk it for all it's worth. I mean, there's a whole fuck ton of DLC for Vermintide, right?
right.
New campaigns,
Yeah.
new maps.
There's actually not a ton as far as I can remember, but there is definitely DLC. And actually, you know what? Maybe this is controversial to say, but like, if they are going to do DLC, which I kind of hope they do, I would be okay with them adding Space Marines in as DLC. I don't care. Screw you. It's a 40k game. I'm fine with it. It's okay. It doesn't mean I have to play
Space Marines, though.
it. Because goddamn it,
I hope you get to kill a Space Marine, a Nurgle Space Marine.
I'm pretty sure you will at some point, and I'm actually really excited to see what that's like, because we didn't get to see any Plague Marines or Chaos Marines or anything. It would be bizarre if they didn't have Plague Marines in a game about a Nurgle infestation, right?
It could just be just a random asshole Nurgle cult.
Just asshole Nurgle cult.
that's all they are, though. They go to worlds, just be assholes. I'm gonna start a Nurgle cult. Let's like go to the toilet and not wash our hands and just touch all the nuts in the bar. So that we've done it. And praise Nurgle.
Right. Okay. Well, fair enough, I suppose. But I'm kind of like 99% expecting to see Plague Marines in the game at some point, you know?
I hope to see something more like other plague enemies, like plague bearers walking around, making you feel sick and fucking up your aim or something. Those fucking flies, maggoty things flying around the place. That would be cool to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah, and like Blight Haulers and Dreadnoughts and stuff like that. I hope we get to see
Maybe
all
not
that stuff.
Dreadnoughts. We'd be absolutely fucked trying to take on a Dreadnought as Imperial Guardsman.
Maybe, but like you
Like
said...
4 random assholes. It's not gonna happen.
Maybe, but I don't know. Maybe you could fight like a damaged Dreadnought, or maybe, like you said, you get to like utilize something in the environment to help you. Like there's like lasgun turrets or something nearby. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, the Dreadnought's being kitted out in the forge. You need to go there and like, I don't know, maybe use some weapons lying around. This broken las cannon. Hopefully it's got
Take it
1 or 2
out
shots
before
in
it's
it.
repaired.
Yeah.
Yeah. that'd be
Basically,
cool.
yeah. And then once it's repaired, you just absolutely fucked.
All right. Yeah, that would be cool. I'd like to see that. All right. So what have we hit on there? We got definitely a lot of thoughts. What we liked, what we didn't like. What we'd like to see. I think we've touched on that a little bit as well. Is there
Yeah,
anything
the
else?
enemies are all good.
Yeah.
Nope. That's it.
That's it. All right.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I think it's good. It should be a good game once we get the full thing.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very excited for it. I hope it doesn't get delayed too much, but also...
I mean, it's already been delayed twice. Next month it's out, and we'll have it in our grubby little hands.
Yeah. Oh, one thing we didn't talk about too much was just optimization, performance bugs, things like that. Should we go over that a little bit?
I think all of that kind of thing can be explained off with it just being a beta.
Right.
Because we've got 30 series cards and we were having trouble, but
Yeah, definitely.
then
But
there are other people with like 10 series and they're having trouble.
I'm wondering though, and this is like just, you know, like, you think they'll be
But it
able
didn't
to
make it not
optimize it?
playable, was it?
It wasn't not playable, but I mean, trying to play like a chaotic FPS game with 48 FPS sometimes is kind of, it sucks. And so I'm wondering, I'm wondering if they're going to be able to optimize it that well within a month.
In a month? Well, a month and a half? Yeah.
Okay. All
And they're
right.
probably still going to be optimizing it after with patches and shit.
That's true.
You know there's going to be a day 1 patch for sure.
Right, definitely. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm optimistic. I'm really excited to play it. I hope it delivers on all of its promises, and it lives up to everybody's
Yeah,
like, speculation.
after being delayed twice. But nobody could have predicted COVID fucking all the development of every game.
Yeah, definitely, that's true. But I think it has potential. Like I'm hopeful that this game will actually be as good as it looks like it will be.
Yeah.
Right?
It'll be nice having I think it's going to be one of those good 40k games when people are like, what game should I play? What's the good ones? You're going to be like Dawn of War, Space Marine, Darktide.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, right? It'll be a good
it'll be one of those main
entry point,
games.
right? Oh, you need to play this if you want to learn about 40k. Yeah, absolutely. I could see that. Awesome. All right.
Cool.
Very good. Well, any other closing thoughts?
No, just I want it to be fucking out already. I can't wait. I'm actually kind of excited.
Definitely. All right, and we're both going to be making more videos on this kind of thing.
Indeedy doodlies. You can catch me on Twitch and MrRip on Twitch, and we both got YouTube channels. Same names, MrRip and AstartesPanda.
Right, and we'll link those down below. And thank you so much for watching, guys. We will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye. Skip it.
Oh, Jesus.
Damn, Ripper gun. Good job, dude.
Rank will be impressed. I'll be sure to tell him what you did here.
You have fun there? I got you.
Last chance to show you that traitors!
We did it!